going to talk about consistency today. And it's kind of funny because we are working on improving YouTube and all that stuff, working on our thumbnails, and you are the one who's always posting, looking at things and like, oh yeah, I like this, or improve that a little bit. And yeah, so that's kind of cool. So when it comes to consistency, I think we are both on the same path. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. I hear you a bit low, so I'm trying to hear out. First, I'm very happy to be a part of your live video. Thank you again. And I agree that it's a part of our life, and without it, we can't really achieve anything. So that's like a key to really whatever you're doing. If you want some results, you need to be consistent.
Oh, I totally agree. And the fact that we support one another, and I think I have to say that includes Chris as well. That makes all the difference. It's like when you're not certain, am I doing the right thing, and then you're posting it somewhere, and then people respond to it. It like I said, it makes all the difference, and it makes it so much easier to be consistent because there's someone out there who is actually taking a look and who's interested.
Yeah, it took me a while because in the beginning I was also like, I was not thinking about it as much. I was always looking like, if I see 5 people view something that I shared, and it was like, oh, it's only 5 people or only 3 people and stuff like that. But then I don't remember who I was listening. Maybe Evan, actually. I was listening. He was saying, you think about that even if it's one person, you may be able to help this one person. And once I change this perspective and I start seeing like when it's one person, I'm kind of like happy that I managed to help one person even. Only one person, it's still more than enough for me, that because you never know, sometimes something very small can actually change the life of someone, and can, like, sometimes the smallest and simplest thing that you don't really feel like you're doing something can really create the change in someone's life. So once I switched this mentality, it really made it, as you said, easy for you to be more consistent, because you know that you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for others, and there is higher purpose, and this way you feel better and they feel better. So that's why what we do, it's like very fulfilling and grateful most of the times.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's even if we can change one life, with what we're sharing. I mean, that's a whole lot, one life. And we usually don't think about it that way. It's like, why is this not happening in that? And why can't it go any faster? But yeah, when we change, it starts with one life, and then hopefully the next one comes, and then the next, and the next, and the next one follows. So I agree. I totally agree. And what I also like is something that Evan Carmichael said, and for those who do not know, Evan Carmichael is the YouTube expert. He basically says, post everything, and then you can look back on how it was and how it is now, so you can actually see your progress. And I have to say, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I sometimes go back and I think that I haven't made such progress, but when I go back and see, it's like much like I see the difference. And probably for most people, they can't see it, because sometimes it's hard to know what's happening inside you, but you remember, you go back in time and you see. Because for me personally, I used to really hate and like posting anything. For me, I hate taking photos of me, and what about even more to post it somewhere or film myself in any way. And I really needed to shift that, and now I actually really like it, and because I know that it makes probably it makes some impact. I hope it makes some impact. So it's really like this shift that I made, because just until recently, like less than a year ago, I really hated like posting everything, anything about me, and I was thinking like, how am I going to become a thought leader in the online space if I can't even like film myself and I don't. But I think it was Brandon Burchard that I watched one training of him once, and he was saying that how he shifted to start posting more often, because for me every time posting was like, oh, not again and stuff like that. Every time I was seeing it as a like a burden. And he said exactly this also, that think about that, how he swapped his thinking. He was thinking the same way, but then one day he thought about it that actually he's sharing his knowledge that way, and instead of asking him, he's asking himself, oh, should I do it again, and now I need to do it again. He started asking himself every time, it's like, what can I teach people today? And once I start doing that, it actually made it fun for me. It's not always the best, but it made it fun for me. It's much easier to do posting and any kind of stuff like that, which is not my thing. But as you said, you just throw it out there and then you see. And I also realized that most of the time, if it's not good, if it's bad, no one will see it anyway. So it's not.
Well, that's what you hope. As long as you don't
Yes,
post it,
that's.
okay.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you post something that you feel like it's the worst thing and that no one will watch it, and then it becomes crazy. There was this girl, I remember. I don't remember her name or what her blog post was about, but she was posting. She was having a blog, and she was posting an article every single day for 2 years. And for 2 years, there was almost no growth in her blog. And one day, she posted one article that she was thinking that is the stupidest article. She almost didn't post it, and she posted it, and it went viral, and it went crazy, and it's like got millions and millions of readers, and then she went to some shows and stuff like that, and it was just, sometimes we think that is the stupidest thing, and no one will really see
Cool,
it.
came through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I missed the last 5 seconds.
So I was saying that her article and stuff went crazy, and the one that she was thinking not to post even, she was thinking, so stupid, why am I even going to post it? But she decided to post it anyway, and then it went crazy. Yeah, and it went crazy, and she got, like, I think she became a millionaire or something. She got really famous and stuff like that, and now millions of people are reading her articles and stuff like that. But sometimes for us we think that it's nothing special, but then it turned out something crazy.
Yeah. Well, it took me, I think I started recording videos a decade ago. And in 2017, I made the decision, I'm going to change this. I'm going to get good at it. And then it finally happened since February 2018. And ever since, I've been very consistent when it came to recording. As for Brandon Burchard, I had been following him since 2013, I think. And he basically told us, make sure that if you get something across, that people can actually learn from it. And then he also told us something else, like, okay, go live and don't edit it. Just do it. So I do edit it occasionally when I go from Instagram to YouTube, because like when I start this live, I say, hey, guys and girls, and I'm going live with yada, yada, yada. And you don't want that in YouTube. So that's the only reason, basically, why I'm editing it. Not because I think I'm doing something stupid, but more like, okay, this is going to be boring, and we don't want the boring stuff in there, especially not in the beginning. So later on, it's okay. But I get what you're saying about you never know what it is people will resonate with. And that's always, and it's only by getting out there and doing it that we get to know it. And that's probably one of the reasons why I love knowing that you look at people's stuff and that we get to discuss, like, okay, what does it look like? How does it come across? Do people like it? Do people not like it? And yes, I guess the whole going live is like an art. I mean, it's at some point, like, okay, let's start with a statement. And of course, we didn't, because we are more spontaneously going live. But normally, if I would literally do a training video, I would start with a statement, and I would have some things I would know I was going to talk about. I would have discussed it with the other one. There's someone else included. And well, that way that people actually can get something out of it. But then the next question, of course, is, but how do people actually know there's a video out there? And how do they recognize it? It might be interesting to them, and that's how we get to the thumbnails, like those little pictures on your YouTube channel, and or what you post on Instagram, like the quotes and all that stuff. And getting people from one channel to the other one, but more importantly, knowing that there's something out there that's interesting for them. That's basically the hard part, and that's, I guess, doing it over and over and over again until you figure out, okay, this is what people resonate with or not.
Yeah, but and there's the thing is, there are many people that can help many others, but no one knows about them. So this is why and usually, as in marketing and business, the best product almost never wins. It wins the one with the best market, so best marketing. And so if you don't know how to present yourself, that's the thing that I needed to learn, because I was thinking that just because I feel like I'm good in something and I give people a result, that will make others come to me. But it's not the case. You need to really know how to present yourself so people want to work with you, and then you can give results, and then the results will bring you more people to help. But that's a thing that I needed to learn in the hard way. But I know what I like what you said about editing the videos. I don't also edit my the live videos. I just maybe cut some part from the middle and put it in the beginning, so people know what. Because if I start, hey, I'm Milko Kukov or whatever, they will be like, who the fuck is this person? Yeah, bye, exactly. So I put something. If I start the live, I also try to start with some stronger, like the thought leader roadmap, that some strong opinion and stuff. But usually, because most people nowadays, they lose interest very quickly. So you may have the best message in the world, if you don't know how to present it, then no one will listen to it. And there was, I don't know who was saying, but it was, people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care.
Oh, that's a good one.
So
that's
yeah. So
well,
so you need to show them that in a way that you care about them and help them in a way, and then they will actually care what you want to say.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. I mean, the reason we do it is we have a message we want to get across. And just recently I was talking to someone else, and it was like, what am I going to post on TikTok? So that's the newest platform that I've been using. And I said, well, I have posted a video about who I am, so my story. And I said the next one had to do with my lip piercing. I say, because I know that people don't agree with it and other people do. So basically the metalheads, they think it's awesome, and the non-metalheads, they usually think like, you. So I said, but I want people to know that it's okay to be authentic. It's okay to get it out there. And there are more videos where I'm thinking, okay, should I post or not? But for me, it's important that people know that that it's okay for them to be who they are, and also that it's important that they get heard. And today, I just recently, before you went live, I posted um, me going to the vet with my cat. And then straight after, we went to a shop, and I actually got all the stuff for her, which is not on the video, but you can see her, in her traveling basket in the shopping cart, which I'm not pushing, by the way, because I can't do that. But and there she is, and she's looking around, and it's kind of fun. I was like, yeah, I'm not sure what the message behind that one is, but it gives people a little bit of an insight in who I am. And, I've got good days and I've got bad days. And I still want to get out there. And I mean, when it's needed, it's needed. And today was the day that it was needed for my cat to have her taken to the vet. So I left the not so nice details out of it. I actually have, I edited in, and then I was like, nah, let's not. But I wanted people to see, like, this is such a cool store where I am right now, and you can actually take your animals inside the store. And I thought that was such a cool concept that I was like, okay, I'm just going to post it, and I actually added the location to it too, at least in Instagram. So yeah, it's about who are you, what do you want to get across, so you can help people best. Talking about this, what is your story? What do you want to get across? What is your one word? And just start somewhere.
Uh, okay, that's a interesting question. So just to say, because it's interesting what you said, and that for me, maybe the hardest, because people relate, they need to relate somehow to you. If you just show up how perfect you are and how good you are and whatever, then they may not be able to relate to you. So this is why sometimes showing some parts of your life actually helps them connect with you more, because they see that there is more in common than just your teaching and whatever it is. Which for me, that's what I'm struggling with, because I don't like for myself uh, talking about negative things in a way. It's hard to explain, but I prefer to focus on the positive things and on what I can do. And it's very hard for me to go out from there, because that's how I frame my life. Because if you focus on the negative, that's what you get more. So I'm trying to focus on the positive side and things that I can do. And it's very hard for me to show the negative things that happens in my life, because I also try to not put too much attention to them. I just try to find a solution right away as much as I can, and not make it a big part of my life. I don't know if it makes sense, but for me
Yeah,
that's
if I
hard
can,
thing to
if I can
share my
interrupt you
struggles in a way.
for a
So
second. Now, I have to apologize. I'm rudely interrupting you, and I am aware that I'm doing it. Um, the thing is, you can show people you're human and that life isn't always easy, but it's the way you present it, and how you finalize your message. Like, for instance, right now, um, for a week now, I've I've had trouble actually sitting, standing, walking, doing all that stuff. I mean, just going to the vet and next from the vet going shopping. I constantly did my exercises in the store, next to my car, at the vet. It's hilarious when you see it. I've done it when I was at the terrace last week. And I'm constantly like, okay, what can I do? Can I walk? And yesterday I walked like under half a mile. And I was planning on posting it. I haven't done it just yet. But it's about, okay, I can only do this much, but I am trying to and see how I improve. And I have to say that compared to a week ago, it's getting better and better, but it's still hard. But I go out there and I do it. And I guess So the negative could be like, okay, here I am, and I have lots of trouble with my lower back right now. And yes, that's a result of all the things I've got. You know, I've got a condition. It's called EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So 1 week I was still, you know, going live with such a big eye. You can still see there's like a stripe there that's still showing. And it's over and done with, and next my back starts hurting, and I was like, oh my God, one has stopped, and now the next one is starting. And how is it possible? And still, you know, despite looking like, okay, I had been in the sun too long because my cheeks were so red and my eye was swollen, I was still like, yeah, but that's another reason not to go live, you know, and that's me being human. And same here. So I did have to cancel or postpone some lives with other people because I said I just can't do it right now because I need to go and lie down again and get that back straightened. But that, you know, that's okay if people see that it doesn't stop there. You know, next you take action, like, okay, so this sucks. That's the way it is. But does it stop me? No, it doesn't stop me. Yeah, do I need to take myself into consideration? Yes. Is that a powerful message? I believe it is, because we let people know that even though you might have things going on in your life which are a setback, we still can move on despite the setback. And that's so it's not necessarily focusing on the negative. It's more like, okay, I'm telling you there's something negative in my life, but I'm focusing on how to get through it despite what's going on.
Yeah, I
Okay,
understand
that's
that.
what I wanted to say to you.
No, it's I completely understand and I agree. So it's more for me that I don't really like I try to like it goes and I don't think about it. I just think of something that I can do about it and I go do it. So uh, many times I kind of forget it in a way. I don't really like it's not like I'm ignoring it. I'm focusing on the solution. So in my head it's hard to come back to see the problem so I can share it with others, you know. So it's I'm building it. I'm trying to learn how to share this part and what kind of struggles I have because I see them, I go through them, but I try not to think about them. So I remember them in a way, but it's not the focus of what I'm trying. So I'm focused more in front of me than behind me. So it's very hard for me to. I'm still working on it of sharing some stuff, which I usually don't. I just don't. I don't like complaining. I don't. I try not to complain, and because I know that it doesn't lead to anything good. So I guess I created something like in my life that I don't like sharing things like that. Anyway, so how I started, pretty much, it's I started working out and I was taking care of myself and my health. And since I was very little, I was very interested in like I'm very curious in general. I love asking questions and very interested like deep questions and random questions. And I always like to ask. It's like my wife doesn't like it much because sometimes I ask questions that people that they're shocked that I ask them questions, but sometimes, most of the times, there are questions that no one asks them, so it creates some thinking in them. So I've always been very curious, and I also was interested. Like I started working out when I was young, like not that I'm old now. When I was 12 years old, I started working out because I was thinking it's cool and I'll make muscles so I'm cool and stuff like that, like normal teenage stuff. And so that led me to a journey that I was working out on my body. I noticed what kind of difference it makes. And I was always curious, so I was always wondering what are the, and because I've been through lots of shitty stuff in my life, and I had lots of bad experiences, all kind of. So I always search for what are the things that makes your life better. What are the things that makes your life better in your relationship, in your business, or in your personal relationship with yourself, with others, intimate relationship, and that made me being more interested in personal development as well. And also I noticed that health is a very, very important part, because I had some health issues that went like, it was nothing major, but it went bad thanks to incompetent doctors. And I'm not neglecting the doctors, I was just unlucky with them, because I've also met in my life many doctors that are extremely helpful and competent, and we need doctors. But I stumbled across a few very incompetent, and it made me suffer a lot, and it extended what, like some small problems, it made me into a big dangerous problems. And that made me want to even more focus on my health. And then I realized that actually health is a big part, because when you're sick, me personally and most people, you don't really, it's hard to care about other stuff, and it's hard to care about others, which is a big part of my life. I always I don't like suffering, so when I see someone suffer, I want to help them even if they don't want help. And when I see, and I was seeing that even I that care a lot about others, when I'm sick, I can't really care about them as much, and I can't do much, because I'm worried more about my health. And that made me think that that's one of the main parts of life. In order for you to have a good life, you need to be healthy, because when you're sick, everything else doesn't work. Like your business doesn't work, your relationship doesn't work, your whatever, personal development, your spirituality, whatever it is. Most of the time when you're sick, it can't be to the level that will make your life better. Of course, there's sicknesses that, you know, that people go through them and they still have a great life, but usually from health comes the whole, like, starts the journey. So that's what made me focus a lot about health and how I can improve my own health and the health of others. And then that led me even more to personal development. And because I noticed that it's not only the tools and the strategies that you need a lot of mindset as well, and so on and so forth. And now I went a bit offside of it, but now what I'm trying to do and I'm working on is to help people first understand that they have and believe in themselves, that they have much more power and much more control over their life than they even can even think of. And I know that, and I'm trying to empower people to show them that they're in control of their life, no matter what is happening. Of course, sometimes you can't make some crazy major change, but you can always do something for your life to improve your life, no matter what's the situation. Sometimes you can do stuff to improve it very little because of some external factors, but many times you can do something that you can significantly improve your life. And the other things that I'm trying to show people is that, and help them understand that they have the control and they need to take responsibility, because when they take responsibility, they take back power, and that allows them to create change in their life. And of course, most of the times it starts with the health, because once you get in control over your health, even to not to such a high level that you're in full control, but even when you start feeling better, when you take care of your health, you start feeling you can. I'm sure you know very good, because even when you start moving a little bit more than you used to be able in the last, I think, 7 years, you said, or something, and even small improvements make you feel much better, makes you want to do much more with your life, and so on and so forth. So That's kind of like the long, short explanation about what
I
I like.
hear you say a lot of things. One which really stood out for me is in order to be able to support others, you need to be able to do it. So if you don't feel good and your health is declining or you're mentally at some place like, I don't care, you cannot help other people. So if you want to help others around you, then you need to start with yourself first. That's absolutely true. As for responsibility, yeah, sure. Um, I don't believe that everyone just knows what they can do. You know, for a lot of people, um, especially when it comes to doctors, because you were talking about it, a lot of people still look at doctors like, oh, they must be all knowing. And of course, they know a lot. I mean, most of them have at least studied for 8 years before they were specialized. And because it's 4 years to be a doctor and then 4 years for your specialization,
Yeah, yeah,
at least. But here's the thing, they're still human. And they're not always good at communicating. So that's why my message is I get people to speak up, speak out, and give them a voice. Because I've learned through the years how hard it can be to get across what it is you want and need, especially when it comes to your health. Getting back to health, some people actually just don't know they can improve certain things. And then there's the other thing when it comes to responsibility. A lot of people take their health for granted. It's normal. And you know, at some point I had some conversations with other people and I said, okay, we are the ones who are struggling every now and then with our health, as in on a daily basis. But do you resent people who are not taking care of themselves? And the conclusion was basically, well, we cannot resent them because they are not aware. They just don't know. But when they talk to me, for instance, and they become aware of what I have to be attentive of every day, you know, whether it's food wise or you know, actually moving around, going somewhere, there's so much for me that I need to take into consideration, but I don't mind, you know, it's my life, I'm used to it, I get to talk to people, so I also get a lot of good stuff out of it. But when I do see people who are smoking, for instance, I'm like, oh my God, do you know what you started? But I also know it's addictive, and when people are stressed out, they cannot just stop it. So who am I to blame them for smoking or for eating unhealthy? If they're not aware, they're not aware. And
yes.
that's the way, that's basically the way it is. So um so getting back to getting things across. So I understand that you were actually quite young when you started um, doing power training, going to the gym, working out, all that stuff. The rule actually is when it comes to going to the gym, especially when kids are still growing, that they cannot pump iron too much because that will influence their growth of their bones and all that stuff. Uh, but sure, there are a lot of um, sports people can do, like for instance martial arts, which still will give you a lot of power and will make you feel really strong and better, especially when you want to have, you know, you especially when you're dealing with bullies or other people and you want to be a little bit stronger, you know, how to defend yourself. So it's good. It's good when people and children already learn at a young age how to work their body in a positive manner, you know? And and you always you see it back, you know, even when they're in the 40s and 50s, when they've been working out, like when they were young, and again, it doesn't matter whether it's martial arts or it's something else. You can tell because the system, the body remembers that, and I think it's kind of cool to see people and see the result of them starting out young already. So, and but my question to you is, what is your one word? And yeah, I'm going to do it one step at a time. What's your one word? And for people who do not know, the one word is basically that thing you're really passionate about, the word that resonates with you, the word that basically tells you, okay, this is why I'm doing things, and this is the reason why. So it's at the top of the chain. What's your one word?
So I just want to say what you earlier said about that people are not aware first. And first, do you see me good? Because it's getting, it looks very dark here because it got dark
Yeah,
outside.
I can still see you good, but you can see that the sunlight is going through the blinds, so that's what you're seeing
Just,
on my face.
is that better? I think that's better.
Yeah, it's a little
So,
bit better.
so of course, that's what I'm trying to do, is to show them that they have the power, not just going and tell them you have the power and deal with it. I show them by teaching them some stuff that proves them that they have control over their health. And because, as you mentioned, most people are not aware. I used to be like that. I was thinking that I'm just whatever the doctor says, and whatever happens, it's in my genetics or my whatever, and that's it. But the genetics play a small role in what in our health. It's like there were studies that shows that less than one quarter is less than one quarter is genetics that is responsible for our health, and the rest is lifestyle and environment and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to teach people, to show them that they have much more control by giving them tools and showing them how to use them, and once they use it, then they understand. So I'm just going a bit sideways, but and the other thing that you said, and it's true about the workouts, that is not good, especially before 16, you shouldn't do any weights and stuff like that. Of course, there are body weight exercises and all kind of sports like swimming. Swimming is one of the best ever. So I was doing, in the beginning, I was doing more sports than weights, and weights I started maybe around 15, 16. So I was not really, and I'm six. I don't know in your what measuring. Are you in centimeters or feet or whatever it is?
For me, in
So
centimeters. For
okay,
most listeners, it's feet.
yeah, I'm 193, so I'm not very
Oh,
short.
you're big.
Yes,
You're
so
almost
I'm
6'5", or you're around
100.
6'5".
Sorry.
You're around 6'5".
Yes, 6'4", and I'm 115 kilos or something like that. So I'm not. It didn't limit my growth much. This workout. So back to the one word. I think my one word. I'm not sure. It's a bit two words. It's personal power and power in general, but more in a positive way. It's not. It's the positive side of the word, because some people think power like taking control over someone else, but for me is power over you, over your life, over yourself and your mind, because I learned, good or easy way or hard way, I learned that it's very important how you react to things, and how much control you have in a difficult situation, because everyone have control when everything is perfect, but the thing is, life, it's not perfect, and very often we face some things. And I learned for myself that if I just let myself react based on my emotions in the moment, I always feel sorry about my action. And if I have control, even for a little bit, to just stop myself and think for a few seconds, then that gives me much more power back, and I react the way I would like to react, because most of the times we feel bad we are regretting for something. So that we said and we did and stuff like that. And that allows me not to feel bad about what I did or what I said. And of course, it doesn't mean that I always make the person have the perfect reaction or perfect decision and stuff like that. But that kind of, it's a big thing in my opinion. And also all these things, like all this, like taking care of your health, learning new things all the time, improving yourself, working on yourself. It really showed me that that's the way to take control over your life. And again, I'm saying not like a crazy control freak that you want to control everything, just control over yourself. And the more you do things like that, the more you have control over yourself, over your emotion, over your life. Because if you have control of how you react to things, then it's much better, your life, and things happen much better for you, and also less things affect you, and so on and so forth. And yeah, I think that's like personal power, or power, let's say if it's one word, it's power, like that inner power. And also that's related to belief in a way, because you need to believe that you have this power. And so, tell me a bit more about yourself now.
I'm
So
smiling
tell
a
me a
little
bit.
bit because this symbol here, it's mirrored, of course, now, but the symbol is it's a Japanese symbol. It's chikara, and it represents strength, inner strength. So it's power. So
That's
that's
great.
kind of cool what you're saying. I like the personal power. So I don't know. Do you have some specific words on your banner on YouTube so people can recognize who you are and what you are about?
Do I have some?
Do you have some specific words or sentences on your banner on YouTube so people know what you are about? Or what would you,
I
if you were just to say like these are two phrases which represent what I do or what I can do for you?
I like to say in the beginning of my videos usually that I believe that you have the power to change and create the life that you want.
Oh, I love
And
that. I love that totally. And that aligns, of course, with everything you've said up till now.
and that
The power to change and to change yourself and you know be who you want to be. And sometimes that might take a little while, but um, and going back to what you said before about genetics, yeah, genetics can be something that's hassling you, but depending on your mindset, you can have a totally different outcome despite the genetics.
Hmm.
And that's what's so important. So mindset is so um, so very important to work with. So are you a coach or are you a personal trainer? What are
I
you?
am a wellness coach, so I'm not a big fan of personal training because it takes a lot of time and effort, and the results that I'm searching for, I don't underestimate the personal trainers. It's quite a lot of work, and I like what I do, but it's more, I'm more uh, towards the whole life. And of course, I start with the health, and because as I mentioned, I think that's a part of the life that is very, very important. And most people, I don't even need to coach them anymore after that, because once they take control over their health, they realize how much more there is from life, and how much more there is how much more they can do, and how much more they can give, and so on and so forth. So I really believe in this, and I believe that everyone have good in them, but just they're conditioned in a way that they don't always show it, or they don't know how to show it. But this thing gives you back, like once you take care, because you start having more energy, you feel much better, and with the more energy, and you want to do more. It's very interesting. Even people that are the laziest and the slowest, they start having more energy, and they start wanting more from life, and wanting more from life in a good way, not in a way that are consumers way. I just want to consume more, because they realize, because the things that I teach is more to it's again, I'm going back to control, the word control, because it teaches you how to have control over what you eat. So you can eat whatever you want, but you choose what to eat. So it's very simple shift in the mindset, but you choose, and that all these little small things, they give you back power, and that allows you to feel much, because everyone, when you feel confident and powerful, you can overcome all kind of challenges in your life, no matter how bad they're. And that's kind of something, I don't know where I was going with this, but
well, we were talking about whether if you're a coach or personal trainer. So basically, you explained, I'm not a personal trainer. I'm a wellness coach, and
so
so the
yeah,
only thing
wellness.
I'm wondering about is, so do you help people on a mental level or so on a physical level? So do you explain them about food and diet, or is it just you might want to take it into consideration?
No, so it's so first, it's wellness for me. That's why I'm calling myself that way, because wellness for me, it means like everything to be good. So like to a certain level, of course, not perfect, but you can be well if most of the main areas in your life are not good. So I start with health, but then I coach for the other things. So usually what I do, I coach them mentally, like I give them psychological, but I give them tools and strategies that they can use that will also help, because I can give them everything, all my knowledge about mentality, but then uh, it's hard for them to start using them, because they need to feel some physical effect, because when you start seeing the results physically, and the physical, and it affects your emotional health. Your physical health affects emotional health. This is why, for example, many people preach meditation and stuff like that. And in my opinion, for me personally, meditation is not very easy for most people, because you need to stop yourself and not think about anything, which for me is like my mind goes everywhere all the time. Like I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and my mind goes like everywhere. And so I try to use some physiological things that can affect your psychology. So I cannot, because most people also, if you tell them, look, the problem is not with your diet, it's with your mindset, and then they will be like, fuck off, it's like bullshit. And once they see results, then they start thinking about the other things, and they are very related. But usually I start like nutrition, can be exercise, movement, recovery, all kind of depending on the health conditions, because there are a lot of, it's not just to get fit, because I don't care about getting fit. Of course, it's a part of the wellness, but there are many people that are super fit and inside they're falling apart. And so my idea is to help them feel healthy and be healthy, and then of course they'll get fit.
Yeah, that's so true. Mindset
Do you hear me good?
is very important.
Ah,
Yes, I can.
okay.
Yeah, you were for a second. I was like, oh, you might be uh, glitching a little, but it's okay. So it's important that people are aware of um, what they actually put, of course, inside their system, what's happening, also what's going on mentally. I was going to say a whole lot of things and I completely forgot, so I'm trying to get back to what it is I wanted to say. um, yeah, when it comes to not just food and all that other stuff, but also the way people feel. Yes, it is true. Food can influence how you feel, and the lack of certain things or too much of anything. I mean, like sugary substances, especially when people are hyper, when they have ADHD, it makes it very hard to focus. Just to name one thing. When we're talking about supplements or lack of vitamins that can influence people too, of course. So there's a whole lot when it comes to feeling fit, feeling good, knowing what to do, when to take the next step. So it's so very interesting, and it's also very complicated how certain things align with one another. I mean, what's normal for one person doesn't have to be normal for another person, basically. So, um,
I agree
I
absolutely.
stopped
And
for a sec.
that's okay. Look, I think because first our gut is directly related to our brain. So this is why they say that your gut is your second brain. So it's also related to our emotions and feelings. So nutrition is a big part of what I teach, but it's not the like
It's not the only
it's
thing.
well, yeah, it's not the only thing, but it's a big part because our nutrition can have such a significant influence on our health and the way we feel, the way we look, and everything. Because and the thing is, we don't have any idea because I have lots of people, lots of clients with all kind of autoimmune diseases, all kind of health conditions that are incurable, and all kind of stuff, and they make some lifestyle changes that are not sometimes not even major ones, and they improve so much, and sometimes these conditions they disappear, like what was it called, remission, whatever, spontaneous remission or whatever it is,
Yeah, I know
that
what you're talking
it
about.
just happens out of nowhere, but it's not out of nowhere because lifestyle it's a huge part, and that's what I was telling for people who get back control, because most people don't have any idea how they can feel. They don't know what they don't know, because many of my clients, most of them, once they reach some, when they do some stuff even for a few weeks, they feel so much better that once you know that once you reach this level and you know how it feels, then you don't want to go back to the other ones, because most of the times we are in this shitty feeling, we feel shitty all the time. So for us it doesn't make much difference, we think that that's normal. But once you go, it's like, imagine you're in euro, right? Euro currency. So imagine you're taking, like, you get salary of 3,000 euro per month, and you get used to it, and it's okay. You know you manage your life, but at some point you start getting 6,000 euro per month, and then you get used to it. And if you go back to 3,000, then it feels like shit. It feels like it's not enough. And the same goes with the health. Once you reach a level that you feel incredible, which you haven't felt in many years, once you reach this level, then it's much easier to try to go back to it than if you've never heard, never felt it, and they tell you, oh, you'll feel better, but it's bullshit. Once you feel it, then that's what I mean, going taking back control, because you give them control and they know what's possible, and once they know what's possible, then it's much easier for them to chase it than if you don't know what's possible. So that's kind of like, and it's crazy. I'm not going to go into details now, but there's such crazy things that we have no idea. I have so many clients with some terrible. I have clients that come to me like, and pretty much they're on the deathbed, almost ready to go, and then you know, they told them, and they say bye to the family, and they come for the last try to do, and desperate, and it changed their life completely. And then in simple changes, that's the thing. It's not, I'm not some crazy guru that I give them the best things in the world that no one knows about. It's just simple steps.
Those are the interesting stories to get out there, so people can actually see, like, okay, I thought my life was over, but actually it isn't. I just needed to know that I needed to change this, that, or the other. And yes, we are. A lot of people are not aware of how the body and the mind are actually interacting, the brain and the gut, like what you said.
Mhm.
They're it's so important to know how one influences the other. So when it comes to, because you are talking about control, self-control, personal power, you are talking about basically about awareness. What are you
Mm.
doing? What's the influence of your actions on your mental health, but also your physical health? We're also talking about the going good today. Every now and then I'm. Oh, I know what I want to say, and then all of a sudden it stops again. Um, one sec. Um,
That's okay.
yeah,
Just take
it
it
just
out.
happened. That's the way my mind works. Every now and then I draw a blank, and then I tell people, yeah, this is life, and that's what happens. It happens when I have a conversation that I can be on the roll, and then the next moment I'm just totally blank. Okay, so I know again what I wanted to say. So from the personal power, from self-control to awareness, being conscious of your decisions, and then we actually can get to the consistency part of it, because if people are aware of the change, they can actually make the decision to start changing in the right direction. And of course, we basically started out with all of this when we were talking about recording ourselves on video and seeing ourselves and wondering, did we like it or not? And then at some point there was this shift, like, okay, I can make a difference in people's lives. And if just one person can see it, it can make such a difference. For me, it was like I wanted to show people what my life was all about, and also I wanted to document other people's lives. So I love to be on stage with musicians, not necessarily as a musician myself, but I love to document them, as in take pictures, take videos, show people out there what's going on, on stage, backstage, all that stuff, and basically tell someone's story. But I also wanted people to show, like, okay, my life isn't always easy. But apart from that, that doesn't mean that we have to stop living our lives. We can still go on and show it. And that's what, when the consistency comes into play, it's like once you know it, are you capable of saying, I'm not going to do anything about it? It's what they say is, once the bell has been rung, you can't unring it. I always love that expression. So the question, of course, is someone going to say, I don't care, I tried it, I did it, and yeah, I felt a little bit better, but it's so much effort, it's not worth it. And then, of course, we in general can ask, yeah, but is that really true? Did you really try? Did you really notice the difference? What's happening mentally that you're saying, I felt better, but then I basically stopped doing it. And most of the time, something in their personal life has shifted, and they don't have the energy anymore to work on themselves because they're basically in survival mode.
Yeah, of course, there's the usually the good thing is I believe in my products and what I give people. So I know that if they don't get results, it means that they haven't followed the steps. And excuse me, that the what I'm teaching them, I know because I know for myself that if it's too hard to follow, I don't want to do it because you can't sustain it in the long term. As I like to say, if you can't do something for life, then don't do it. Like, of course, it's a bit too extreme, but it's not always the case. But if you can't follow it for a long time, then there is no point to following it because then it can't create the life that you want because you need the consistency here. So I know that usually if they don't get results, they don't do the things that I give them. And I know that the things that I give them are not too hard. So that's how I created it. So I can follow it because I don't like restrictions. In my life, I prefer not to have, I can restrict myself, but I prefer not to have them. So I know how it is. So this is why I teach people how to sustain their good health without being crazy, doing crazy restrictions or counting the calories or whatever bullshit there is. And of course, there are people that, you know, I had recently client that a few months ago that she still is very, very overweight, like dangerously. I'm concerned about her life. And I know from her friends that she was always, they were telling me, oh, she's always on a diet, she's always trying some new stuff, and never nothing works. And so I went to talk with her. I spent 2 hours maybe talking with her, discussing options and stuff like that. And she sounded very convinced and she really wanted to do it. And like I left, and the next day she was supposed to start. And then the next day she tells me, oh, that's too hard for me. But the case is, I was okay. I was ready to give her other options, but she just didn't want it. And she said, I tried it, but it's too hard for me. And that's what's her mentality, and that's what she was saying to everyone else. So pretty much she didn't try anything because she gave up the morning that she needed to start. She didn't even start it. But in her mentality, she tried it and it doesn't work. And for others, like she shares with everyone else that she tries. This is why she's all the time doing some stuff and nothing have result, because she haven't even tried it and she decided. But then, of course, that's related to many personal issues. And of course, in this case, I couldn't interact in any way because she just didn't want to see me, because she knew that if I talk with her, I'll convince her. But
You would get
that's
to
a
the bottom of it.
sorry.
You would get to the bottom of it, and you would confront her, and she wasn't up for being confronted with reality.
Yeah, she was not ready for it, but it's very rarely that it happens like that. I had like 1 or 2 cases like that it happened this, but usually once people want to, like, even from the first conversation, I'm able to kind of show them that it's possible. And then once they try some, even if they try the smallest things that they give them the easiest, it's still they start feeling different. It's more about feeling. Of course, they look different, but they start feeling different, and then that helps them achieve more and be consistent and stay consistent.
So
And
just for my just to get a better perspective on what you're doing. So do you advise them supplements? What do you exactly do? Do you look at them with to their do you look at their daily schedule, what they're eating, how they're moving? What do you exactly do?
so I don't. I'm not a big fan of supplements. I teach them how to, when it comes to nutrition, for example, I teach them, for example, how much water they need, the main things, the things that they really need. It's like water and what kind of food is good to have. And I give them more, I try to teach them and that's what I'm doing, at least I believe I do it, that how to make the right choices so they can have control over their life. And so I don't like supplements, and I believe that most people can go without supplements. And of course, sometimes it's necessary, but most of the times it's not if you have the right diet. But I teach them how to make the right choices so they don't depend on me. I don't just give them, look, follow this and this and this. And when the program finishes, they need to come back to me. I give them power so they can deal with it without me being there. And of course, same goes with the exercise. And exercise sometimes is different because some people just prefer to do specific exercises and stuff like that. But usually I can give them direction there, and then I give them other ways to recover the body, because there are many ways outside of nutrition and movement that can help us clean the body, recover, feel better mentally, physically, and so on and so forth. And as someone is Ryan
Talking
is
asking about creatine for muscles. I think if
creatine.
you're
very bad. It's like it fucks up your kidneys and it pumps your muscles in a way. They get watery, so they get kind of biggish in a way. But then the moment you stop it, the muscles disappear and you peed out everything, and it just put pressure on your kidneys and your liver and so on. It's very unnecessary.
Yeah,
I
you need to be
know.
very careful with the amount you take, and it's still about working out. You still have to do the work.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
and
just
I
about
know
taking
people that
supplements. It's
I know people that started peeing blue, like their pee was blue from creatine. So there's all kind of stuff. So, but usually this creatine is like the lightest version of steroids, like if you can see it that way. But it's completely unnecessary. If you're consistent and you do the right things, you get results much faster than with all this bullshit, and you'll be able to sustain the results for a longer time.
Mhm.
So, Lexi, because
Okay.
I need
Yeah.
soon
So for
disappear
some
because it's
final
late here.
words,
Uh,
about consistency, what would your final words be?
I want you first to give me a short summary of you, and then we can finish. Like, what's your one word? Why you're doing what you're doing, and then we'll have another conversation and go a bit more into depth.
That's good. My one word is inclusion. Hashtag inclusion. And I've always been the old one out, and because of it, I didn't know how to speak up. I was very quiet as a kid. I was very withdrawn. I was in my own world. And later on, I realized that physically I was also the old one out. So I could go and see the doctors, and they never believed me. So I literally had to learn to speak up and also investigate all the stuff. So I had to learn to speak up and speak out. Say, okay, but how about this? How about that? How about the other? And combined with 7 years ago, is it 7 years? Almost 8 years ago, I tripped on a brick and I tore a ligament in my ankle. No one believed me. A bone started shifting, which was attached to a tendon, which was going from the arch of the foot onto the calf, and it hurt. It hurt immensely. But like I said, no one believed me. They actually tried to have me do stability exercise and all that stuff, which of course didn't help at all. So during that search of finding a doctor who would know what to do, and I found her in the end, um, I really had to learn to figure out, okay, so when it comes to communication, how do I get across what it is I want, I need, I feel? And of course, I also needed a lot of support from other people because I cannot just go anywhere. When I go and I get on the plane, I need medical assistance. You know, until half a year ago, I couldn't even walk without crutches, and I still can't walk for a long period of time. But ever since I got a knee brace, so my ankle is sort of okay again, but now my knees have caved in. Um, I can actually walk without my braces because I've got more stability. I'm walking better. But it was all linked to speaking up, speaking out, sharing my voice. And what I noticed is when I was traveling is so many people approached me and they said, "Oh, you've got cool crutches," because I pimped them. Or I would be wearing physio tape in all sorts of colors, which and the way they would be put on my leg, they would have a different, not as much a different meaning mentally, but they would have certain goal, like to drain certain fluids, that kind of thing. So people were curious and they wanted to know my story. So I actually shared their stories. I started recording those videos, what I talked about, and I realized the importance of people sharing their voice. And when I got into contact, because I've been a coach for over a decade, a coach and a therapist and a trainer, and when I figured out that there were people, especially those who can be considered the odd ones out, when we're talking about inclusion, um, when I realized those people were trying to speak up, or maybe not even trying anymore, because they couldn't get across what they wanted to say, and or they were never heard or seen or understood. That's when I was like, okay, I need to give people a voice. Hang on, I need to give people a voice. I need to teach them how they can actually express themselves, why people react a certain way, or another way. So basically, it's also about the basic communication, not just between men and women, Venus and Mars, but also about people, for instance, with ADHD, or who are stimulated very easily and get too many impulses in there, or who have autism, or people who are traumatized. And by explaining them how people perceive things from different perspectives, it I basically can help them understand what's going on, and then I can teach them, okay, how about this, how about that, what if you were, so it's I have to say, it used to be about life questions, but nowadays it's I don't know, for some reason people came to me who were dealing with trauma, addiction, all that stuff. So and I have to say, I love it, because I do understand where they're coming from, because my life is basically complicated. But, despite it being complicated, I also know, we can make it happen. We can make it work. And yes, maybe we are different compared to other people. So what? You know, we need to understand how people work and what makes them tick. And if we know how we work and how other people work, so many things can change. So basically, my motto is I teach people to speak up, speak out, and share their voice.
That's amazing, and I like the story, and I think it's very important thing to help people do, because it's if you can't speak out for yourself, it's very hard for the others also to understand, and sometimes you may need some help, or someone can give you some idea even, but if you don't share what's in your head, it's very hard for the others to understand you, and then you come across that everyone is guessing what's happening and no one can really guess what's really, and then there leads to frustration, and as you say, as you in your case, like lots of bad experience. I'll be very happy to help you with your ankle and leg recovery, because I'm pretty sure I can give you some tools and strategies that you can use that can help you. Because of course, when your ankle is not good and you overuse, you don't use it correctly, then it goes to the knee, hips, and all around, and everything else.
That's why early on I at some point became a fitness instructor, and then a medical fitness instructor, a therapist, then an energetic therapist, and then a coach and a counselor. And meanwhile, I was already a trainer, so that's all just to get to understand how my system works.
If you want, I'll be very happy to, if you, of course, you want, you may not want, but I'll be very happy to help you with that, because I think there are some small things that you can make. Probably it will take a while, because 7 years you are not using it properly, so it will take a while, but it can significantly improve. I'm actually shocked that it took 7 years, that no one really help you recover much faster. And I don't know, did you do surgery?
I can explain you the whole story behind it, but this is not the time to.
I will be happy to hear it, and you too, but yes, not the time, because it's late here, and with you it's late too, but I wake up at 5 a.m., so for me it's late.
Yeah, it's time to quit. But again, when it comes to consistency, if you would have to say one last thing about consistency, what would you say? What would you give to people out there?
For me, the key to being consistent is every time you fuck it up, go back to it right away. No matter how bad you screw it, no matter how you screw it, go back to it right away. Don't let it, don't, as they say, don't sleep 2 times in a row. And
Yeah, and then in addition, I will say when things go haywire, figure out what has changed in your life and why didn't it work. So usually there something has shifted in your life, something has changed. Why? And that's probably the reason why you decided I can't go on anymore, or you didn't take something into consideration. So think about the elements. What did you do? What made the change? And just looking at what you've done already probably helps you to be able to get back to the consistency again. So sometimes we need to tweak and change a little thing in order to get moving again. So
absolutely. Should we answer? There is a quick question here, and to finish because I really
yeah,
need to go.
calisthenics. It's the one is about that when it is we're talking about the gym, you have the muscular aspect and then you have the stamina aspect. So when we're talking about the lungs and all that stuff in your heart, then that's one we talk about spinning, running, all that stuff. So basically get your heart rate to increase. Of course, you can get your heart rate to increase when you're pumping iron too. So that's the high intensity training. So if you are more muscular, then you will also burn more calories. So that's actually very healthy. So you want to do a combination of both. And back in the days, we were just pumping iron, and then at some point people said, well, you know what? It's better if you start, cycling first, running first, whatever it was, some sort of cardio, and also to finish with it, because you also teach your body like we're starting up now, so you're going to do the cardio, you warm up, your heart rate increases, your lung capacity increases, your blood flow changes, so the muscles will be fed far better with oxygen and all the other stuff that they need. And then when you slow down again, so you do a little bit of cardio again, and then you start stretching, then your body knows, okay, it's okay and it's good to go. And if you want to take some protein afterwards, I don't know how you feel about the protein shakes, but I do believe protein is very healthy. Then it's you've gone full circle. That's my take on it. I don't know what you would like to add.
I kind of agree and disagree, but I'm not going to now go too much into detail. I'll just say about the calisthenics that he mentioned that so calisthenics, in my opinion, is very good for you because it engages your whole body. The only issue is that you're a bit limited of the exercises that you can do. So there are exercises that are very important, like squats and deadlifts, for example, that are, I'm going a bit more into details, but they're vital for the development of your body and your everyday activity. So the best is to combine them, to go to the gym and do the calisthenics and additional do this thing.
I agree. I totally agree. You
Where
can't do one
cardio,
without the other.
yeah, cardio and stuff, it's a bit different topic because it depends of many things. And long cardio is not the best for burning fat and burning. It's more easier to burn muscles. So cardio workout, which cardio is, I'm talking about long, like long static cardio, like running or bicycling, like cycling for 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever. It's good for the only benefit from it is that you get for like it improve your heart endurance. But
Yes,
there
the
are better.
endurance, that's. But just starting with somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes already makes the difference, and it tells your body, "Hey, I'm going to do something." And one thing, which I know you must have been talking about, but we didn't literally mention it, is basically the core stability, which of course you related to when you were talking about all the squats and all those things. So there are so many aspects to that one question.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other thing is, like, I'm not against the cardio in a way for specific reasons and so on. But the thing is that there, for 10 minutes, as you said, sometimes for 10 minutes you can do workout that can give you so much benefit than 1 hour of cardio and so on and so forth. But we don't have time now
Yeah,
to
that's
talk about
what I
it.
agree with, and that's why I mentioned high intensity training. So usually when I work out, I will do a part of the upper body, then the lower body, and then I'll exchange it so I don't take any break. And of course, when you're doing things like squats, you basically exercise your whole body, so your heart rate will go up. And that's the whole goal, of course, of cardio. That your lungs start to improve, that your heart starts to improve, and you can all combine it together. So it's not like one thing is is the ultimate thing. It's the combination of it all which works best. But it's again not
Absolutely.
a simple answer.
Absolutely. Okay, Lexi, I'm very happy we had this conversation. I'm looking forward to have another one as well. Once
Yes,
you
I will,
like.
and I'll hit you up after
Okay,
live.
okay. Thank you again, and we'll talk again soon. And thank for everyone that is watching and the questions. And we'll talk again soon.